Hello, Poland and EU and the startup community. And thank you for allowing me to participate in the panel with Mr. Janusz Cicinski. Sorry for my pronunciation. I've been extremely lucky to work as an entrepreneur in Finland and EU and been able to enjoy the fruits of our EU as our home market. If there's one thing I feel that I wish all entrepreneurs to think and consider, it is that we must see EU as our home market. Not Poland, not Finland, but EU. In these special times when European unity has been put to test, I strongly propose that we double down on our European vision. After all, EU has built pretty much an incredible opportunity for growth and strength that each startup can enjoy, just as Poland, has seen as a country. So my kind of three theses are that number one, EU should be at all times seen as our home market. Together we are enormous. Number two, work for European unity. The Russian war has shown the risk, but also the strength in EU, and we must work hard to make it even stronger. So work for unity and against segregation. Number three, think about a sustainable future as it brings sustainable business models as well. As the new technologies have shown, startups can shoot satellites into space, support a country when at war. The same way I urge every startup to think that what is the vision and purpose behind your company? How will it be part of creating a greater good? This way it allows you to sell better, secure your future better, and attract better people. Thank you so much.
Europe is challenged as never before. We have too many crises to even mention them in such a short video. And yes, again we see a suppressing power waging a war in Europe. As startups, we're by nature driven to solve problems. This is our DNA. Therefore, we're also key to help solve Europe's future. We are amazed to see Poland taking on the responsibilities for Europe's future, and we're eager to support your ambitions for startups in Europe. But unfortunately, all countries in Europe are not sharing the same vision. The Commission have been focusing on putting out fires for far too long, and there is no foreseeable end to this. Startups are willing to lend a hand and drive the changes with innovation. At Frontrunners Alliance, we believe that if Europeans are to determine our own future, we need to grasp opportunities and be curious of what new innovation and technology can bring. But the EU institution needs to reach back. The startup ecosystem in Europe is looking for a regulatory framework which paves the way for creating incentives to digitize, innovate, and take risk. Not a framework which discourages them with bureaucracy and inappropriate legislation resulting in loss of innovation and competitiveness. We welcome and we support the EU's ambition to regulate in order to ensure fair use of new technologies and level the playing field as a whole for Europe. But during the last few years, we have seen several potential pitfalls in digital policy proposals and legislation, such as DSA, DMA, the AI Act, and the Data Act. If we want startups to thrive, and we really need that, future legislation on digitalization and innovation needs to mind a balance on how to tackle the various dilemmas in relation to technology, society, and our values. Therefore, we call on the EU institution to bring the startup community and its representatives to the table before shutting down the blinds in negotiation.
Startups are key to Europe's future economy and society. They're essential players to make the ambitious with respect to the European Green Deal and the European Digital Strategy a reality. Startups are important in any innovation ecosystem that aims to deliver breakthroughs to the market. They are key in creating new jobs and sustainable European prosperity. There is there is a strong need for coherence in policymaking on startups at EU level. Thus, the European Commission should provide member states with targeted support on the implementation of startup-friendly policies. I would mention 3 points when it comes to policymaking and to different policies. The European Union itself should embrace 3 measures. The first one I would mention is tax incentives for growth. Startups should be classed as a special investment category, and investors should be allowed to deduct their investments in startups from capital gains taxes. This would, for instance, create fiscal incentives for business angels which are not very active in the EU. The second point I would like to mention is the employee stock options. In Europe, individuals who receive stock options in a company often have to pay ordinary income tax of them as if they were current income, meaning the recipient has to pay an often heavy tax on an illiquid asset. This reduces the attractiveness of stock options as a means to attract talent and reward risk-taking. Therefore, ESOP or employee stock options offered by companies in Europe should be taxed as capital gains, not ordinary income. And last but not least, I would like to mention is Pan-European Startup Visa, or let's call it Startup Green Card. In order to turn Europe into the easiest place for highly skilled talent to start a company and get a job, a Pan-European Startup Visa should be rolled out. This could be modeled on existing examples and national level, such as the French tech ticket. This is of greatest importance given that more than 25% of employers in Europe declare having difficulty filling jobs for lack of talent. Thank you very much.